Hey folks, this is another short version video on how to barbecue, and today I'm doing it on chicken thighs, and I'll be cooking on a Weber Smokey Mountain. Like I said, this is a short version video, so I've kind of collapsed all the steps from my full-length videos on, in this case, how to cook chicken, down into, an 8 or 10 minute video that you can check out the day before you cook, just as kind of a refresher on all the steps needed to smoke chicken thighs. There'll be a link down in the description where you can go and check out the full-length version of the video. But let's get started. So first off, I'm going to show you guys kind of how I prepare the wood for a Weber Smokey Mountain or a little Oklahoma Joe's offset smoker. I buy this white oak and red oak by the rick, and they're in large pieces. And this is the safest way I've found to kind of pare them down into small splits. I like to put them in a vise and use a reciprocating saw and just chop them up into smaller bits. I've used like a miter saw and a chainsaw and all kinds of different stuff to do this. To me, this is the quickest and by far the safest. See, I buy this wood by the rick like this, and it's just way too large to use in these smaller smokers. That's for my trailer smoker. So, like I say, I try and chop it all up into small pieces so I'm always ready, and I keep a couple baskets of those smaller splits ready for my Oklahoma Joe's or for my Weber Smokey Mountain. So I just wanted to show you guys how I make those splits. So with chicken thighs today, of course our first step is starting the fire in our Weber Smokey Mountain. I like to use a charcoal chimney and maybe put a third of it full of charcoal and get it going. You use charcoal lighter fluid. You can use oil on a paper towel or one of those little lighter cubes or whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's all going to burn off. And then when it's really hot, I take that chimney out of the way and I put maybe a third of a basket down there of charcoal. And I put some wood chunks in there, nestle them kind of down in there. And I like to pour the coal on top of the charcoal like that. That way I get a good, long, even burn. And we put the thing back together and clean the grates. I like to use a nylon bristled or poly bristled brush like this instead of a wire bristled brush. And I scrub off the grates really well, and then I spray them down with pan release or vegetable oil and wipe them off with a paper towel. And then our cooker can kind of come up to temperature and get sanitary in there as we are getting the chicken ready. That's our next step, is to trim and season the thighs. Thighs come kind of clunky. They have all this extra skin and fat and stuff on them, and basically I just square them up. Take the extra fat and extra skin off. If I can see any large globs of fat, I do take them off because that will keep that skin from rendering and it'll make it tough. You want that skin to be as thin as possible. So any large chunks of fat or extraneous skin you want to trim off. Basically I just lay them down like this and I square them off. And then, like I say, if I can get to any large pieces of fat, I do take them off. And that's basically all you kind of have to do to these chicken thighs to get them ready to go. This is not a video on how to do competition with chicken thighs. This is just friends and family cooking in the backyard style. And then I'll season them up. I'm using Payne County Bird. It's my own poultry and pork seasoning, but your favorite barbecue rub, of course, will work. And I like to season them mainly on the meat side. I use these yellow pans that the chicken comes in. It kind of keeps a mess off my counter. And then I put a little bit of seasoning on the skin side too. And then you just kind of tuck the sides under and put them in a foil pan. We'll be actually cooking these chicken thighs in a foil pan today. I'm also going to cook some of these little breakfast sausage links. They're raw breakfast sausage links. We'll be putting them on the grill also. I think these are maple flavored. But there's the chicken thighs ready to go, and there's those sausage links I'm going to put on there also. They only take about 20 minutes, and they're really tasty. So that's what we'll do next, is smoke the thighs, 250 degrees or so, for about an hour and a half. That's about as long as it takes to get all the smoke you want on a chicken thigh. They cook really fast. I'll place the pan on there, and then I'm going to put these sausage links on there like I noted. I put a probe thermometer in the middle of one so we can tell whenever they hit 160 degrees. But it'll only take about 20 minutes. They cook really fast. But they're super tasty, especially when you smoke them like this. That's kind of all there is to it. We just keep that smoker at 250 degrees. And it doesn't take long before we see the 160 degree mark hit on those sausages. They're 162 here, so we'll go ahead and pull them off there. You can see how they got that mahogany color now. Nice and smoky. These are really, really, really tasty. I hope you guys try this sometime. It's a good way to fill that extra space on the grill. As you can tell, the chicken's not ready to do anything with yet. It takes about an hour and a half for that crust to set. And that'll be our next step, is to put Parquet on the chicken thighs and foil them up to braise them until we hit a 200 degree internal temperature. It usually takes about 45 minutes. So there they are. The crust is now set. If I were to drag my fingernail across the back of those chicken skins, that seasoning would not come off. The crust is set on there. So we'll put a probe thermometer in the deepest part of the largest thigh. That way we can watch for that 200 degree mark, and then we'll braise them with some Parquet on top. This helps the skin get soft. It helps the bath that those chickens are sitting in, that chicken juice and oil. This goes down into there and helps flavor the meat itself. This is just a great thing to do. A lot of people in competition do this. You can also use, I can't believe it's not butter spray, but for chicken thighs, I prefer Parquet. And then we'll foil them up for the braise. Usually takes under an hour for these chicken thighs to hit 200 degrees, but that depends on how hot you're cooking and things like that. And then the last thing we do is, once they hit 200 degrees, we're going to glaze them and let that glaze set up for about 10 more minutes. So here they are at 200 degrees. I like to push the pan kind of towards the back of the grate and then just place them all on that grate with some tongs and glaze them. See how that skin has gotten nice and crispy because of that Parquet? All the rub has darkened. All that juice it's been bathing in is very, very flavorful. And that's what makes this braise so important for chicken thighs. Makes them just taste wonderful. So now we'll glaze them up. I'm using my own barbecue sauce. This is called Hog's Bane, but it's a Kansas City style sauce, which I recommend, something with sugar in it. A nice sweet sauce like this. And I like to sauce and glaze the tops and then flip them over and sauce and glaze the bottoms. And then I flip them back over and glaze the top one more time and let that tack up in the smoker for, 8 or 10 minutes, whatever you think, really. And that's the last step, but it's a very important one in making these smoked chicken thighs. And there they are. That's what they look like when they're done. The skin is nice and crisp and bite through. All that smoke is adhered to the outside, the dry rub, the glaze, everything. These are a lot of flavor in one little package. I really like eating chicken thighs this way. All the skin on all your thighs won't be bite through. You'll get some thick skin and some thighs that have a little extra fat underneath sometimes. I pulled this one off, and as you can see, it's cooked perfectly. And this one does have bite through skin. I'll do the bite through test here. And this chicken is perfectly done. It's very tender. You can pull it right off the bone if you like to make pulled chicken sandwiches, or if you want to make a chicken salad out of this. See how everything is just very tender? This is perfectly done. That's a perfect smoked chicken thigh. And there's the sausages beside them. I hope you guys try smoking chicken thighs if you never have. They're a lot of flavor. And I hope you enjoy these short version videos. Thanks a lot for watching.